What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Glad to have you back. So we are the week following UCC, and it is actually the following Thursday. And you know, we just got to get back out to the track and do some testing. One, I need to get better on the light, so I want to get some practice at the tree. And two, I know there's more left in the truck, and I think the anteater tune is good to go. I think it's spot on, so I'd really like to get out to the track and see if it's good to go before we go all the way down to Beach Bend. And yeah, I just couldn't wait. And all the other guys actually convinced me to come, and yeah, so Jerome and Andy got lucky on this one. But we went down to Killcare, and it turns out we rolled in and there was a huge event there this weekend, or coming up in the next couple days and rolling through the weekend. It's like a $64,000 payout big bracket race. So the place was absolutely jam-packed. I've never seen it like this before. So yeah, we get our own lanes for test and tune, which is great. So we were still rolling through, but there was a lot of old heads that would saw my truck and were like, oh great, an old diesel smoky pilot, you know what. And they were actually very impressed because they couldn't complain about it because it's not really smoky. But we made some really good passes. We got a new personal best, and I could not be happier. There is a slight spoiler alert that we dipped into the 7s under VE power, fuel only. Super pumped. It's just been something I've been wanting to do for a while. Not something that's not attainable. It's clearly not attainable, or I mean, it's very attainable. But yeah, we dipped into the 7s. Our second pass would have been great, but we'll get to it. So yeah, needless to say, welcome back.
Listen, I need, if you are in tonight's Thursday night ultimate warm-up race, I need your hand and card turned in to the base of the rear tower in the mailbox. If you are tested soon, you should have a light purple card.
Oh, you did great. I appreciate it. Those time guys.
Alright, so we get down to Killcare. I drive the truck an hour from the shop down to the drag strip. We get there and we have to swap on our Hoosiers all the way around because it is a slick tire night, test and tune only, because they have the track prepped for this big event and there was no hard tires allowed. So I had to swap on the Hoosiers, and me and Brett got that knocked out no problem. He helped him with that. And we got up in the staging lanes for our first pass of the night, which you guys will see right here.
Party brought to you by the Fraternal Order of Orioles, 1963, out of Franklin.
So as you can tell, pretty good lick. It was some racing a 5.0 Mustang. It was, again, it's just test and tune. So there was a 5.0 in the other lane. It ran all right. It was probably pretty stock, but we ran a new personal best pass. I was super pumped. We got the slip here. We went 172 to the 60 foot and went a 792 to the 8th mile, so 792 at 85.7 miles an hour. So we got another mile and a half mile an hour, almost 2 mile an hour, and we cut it down from an 806 to a 792. So we're chopping it down. We're just getting after it. That was another 20-pound launch. The Anteater was the same as the last pass from UCC, but we had the overdrive on instead of turned off, so that definitely helped. It is a quarter-mile track. I think at the quarter it was like at a 13.6. My mile an hour was down to 71. I let out at the 8th. I was just running the 8th. And it turns out I sidestepped it hard enough that it vapor locked. So in the return road, the truck was dead or died because I vapor locked it. So I had to have Whitley and Dennis run down and get me a 17, and we had to crack lines in the return road. So that was wonderful. I went without doing that all weekend, and I managed to do it first pass at Killcare. I was so mad. But we got it running, got it back up, and we went back to the staging lanes to make number 2 pass. Alright, so we're up for pass number 2. The truck's sat a little bit, it's cooled back down, we're good to go. Basically everything was the same. I decided I was going to run it out in the quarter this time just to see what it would do. And I was going to leave harder. I figured, if it's going to hold, it's going to hold. If it's not, it's not. We're going to find out here and see what it'll do. Just kind of lay it out all out on the line. We launched it at 25 pounds. There's not even a video for this pass because it was an aborted run, unfortunately. But we launched at 25 pounds. We went 168 to the 60 foot, which is our prior best was a 172. So we knocked a couple off there, which is... Unfortunately, that was my 780 pass. It would have probably ran a 788 or 789 there, and it still irks me. But unfortunately, whenever we launched, the Anteater, it went into manual mode and went into manual 1. So I was in manual 1 coming off whenever it launched, and obviously, without me tap shifting it, it's not going to shift. So once I realized that after the 60 foot, and after I launched essentially, and it didn't make that 1-2 shift, I looked and saw it, and hit my steering wheel and let out and just went ahead and drove through the quarter mile and got off the track, and took that as my sign to go ahead and swap my street tires back on. That it just wasn't meant to happen tonight, but I was like, well, oh well.
John Cook let go of the trans brake and he smacked the bump down one time, and he bumped himself 3 mile red up front. Go feed you back.
Alright guys, so we are at the track currently, Thursday night test and tune. We ran the truck, this is after, very, very pumped. We went a 792 at 85.
17 of you coming back, I need you, let's go gang, we got a kicker in
my
high
knowledge,
gear.
Possibly the VE record, there might be one faster, but David Livesay was the man to beat at 796, and we went 792, so I don't know if Ponci is lower than that. I've heard rumors. They've always raced quarters, so I don't know what their 8th is, but it's very close to the record, so we will see. We're not quite tapped out on fuel yet, and there's no nitrous on board yet, and yeah, so it was a good night. Also, second pass, Anteater shifted into manual mode, so we didn't get out of first, but our 60 foot was the best one to date. We went a 168 to 60, 168 60, which was another couple of tenths off of my best. So we're making improvements past my pass, and the truck is living. So we put the normal tires back on it. We're gonna drive it an hour home, and just be happy for the rest of the night. Grab some food on the way. Big shout out to all the guys for coming and making me come. Brett rode past us on the way down. Dennis and Whitley saved me the shutdown, and Andy and Jerome definitely made me come here. So it was worth it. Had a lot of fun, and we're gonna get out of here.